The morning routine in the small, unremarkable apartment in the Yunchang suburbs commenced with the familiar grinding sound of the old tricycle's engine. Mr. Shaw, with his thinning gray hair and worn flannel shirt, meticulously checked the vehicle's tires. His son, Xia Bailan, looking sturdy but plain in his faded uniform, placed an insulated lunchbox onto the seat. "Father, breakfast is ready. Please eat it on your route," Xia Bailan instructed, his voice low and respectful. Mr. Shaw smiled, the lines around his eyes deepening. "Thank you, son. This manual labor is certainly less demanding than the mental strain you carry running Longxi. I prefer this simplicity." Xia Bailan merely nodded. He knew his father, Xia Zhaotang, the scientific luminary known globally as the Indomitable National Scholar, had deliberately imposed this austere lifestyle. It was both a protective layer against foreign intelligence and a proving ground for Bailan's character. This current setup was the perfect camouflage for their true operations. "Today we execute Phase Alpha at the Longxi Showroom, correct?" Mr. Shaw asked, his eyes gleaming with intellectual anticipation. "Yes, father. The prearranged challenge is set. The confrontation with the Sun family is the fastest way to expose their network ties to Phoenix Enterprises," Xia Bailan confirmed. "I will purchase you a new electric tricycle. The old one has fulfilled its strategic purpose." The transition from the dilapidated apartment to the gleaming marble and chrome of the Longxi showroom was jarring. Mr. Shaw and Xia Bailan walked in, immediately drawing looks of profound disdain. A showroom manager, immaculate in his suit, quickly moved to intercept them. "Excuse me, gentlemen, we cater only to pre-approved clientele. This is an exclusive 4S showroom," the manager stated, attempting to herd them toward the public exit. Before Xia Bailan could respond, Sun Hongyuan appeared, his laughter loud and mocking. He was flanked by his entourage, reveling in the public spectacle. "Well, well, look who decided to visit. Xia Bailan, did you get lost on your delivery route? Don't tell me you're here to apply for a cleaning job carrying that senile old man around," Sun Hongyuan roared, drawing the attention of every wealthy patron. He intentionally blocked their path to the display cars. "We are here to purchase a vehicle," Xia Bailan repeated, calmly, his composure unnerving Sun Hongyuan slightly. Sun Hongyuan recovered quickly, pointing dramatically at a 100 million yuan hypercar. "Purchase a vehicle? That is an 80 million yuan limited edition. You, a common delivery driver, couldn't afford its custom floor mats. My family, the Sun Group, dictates wealth in this city. We have direct personal ties to the Indomitable National Scholar himself. That is power you and your father will never comprehend." Mr. Shaw's eyes narrowed. The deliberate use of his title by this arrogant upstart was the precise trigger they needed. "The Indomitable National Scholar," Mr. Shaw mused aloud, his voice gaining a sudden low resonance that silenced the laughter. "A man who values discipline and integrity. Why does his name associate with a man whose primary traits are arrogance and an inability to honor his word?" "Hey, old man! Who are you to question my family's honor? Stay out of this. You're nothing but a distraction." Sun Hongyuan screamed, his face contorting in fury. Xia Bailan stepped forward, his eyes locking onto his adversary. "My father is right, and since you value honor so little, we must test yours. I propose a wager." "A wager with a pauper? Fine, I'll crush you," Sun Hongyuan hissed. "I will purchase a car here, for cash. If my purchase price exceeds yours, you will perform the following penance. You will kneel before my father, the man you insulted, and publicly shout this 10 times. I wish the Indomitable National Scholar and the CEO of Longxi 100 years of success. May they prosper, and may the Sun family never bother the CEO's madame again, Xia Bailan demanded, deliberately letting his real title slip as the final psychological weapon. Sun Hongyuan was too blinded by rage and certainty of his own victory to question the sudden appearance of the CEO of Longxi. Done. But if you fail, your father will kneel and polish my shoes with his tongue. Mr. Xia pulled out his old phone. General Qi Chen. The operation is green-lit. Send the specified asset immediately. I need 50 million yuan cash deposited here within 15 minutes. The cold command sealed the bet, leaving Sun Hongyuan trembling with a mixture of disbelief and mounting dread. With the showroom drama momentarily paused, Xia Bailan excused himself, needing to coordinate the next stage of the operation, the public humiliation of the Chen family's materialistic demands. He contacted Su Yi, who was already preparing to leave the coffee shop for the planned dinner. The Sun operation is initiated. Now for the Chens, Xia Bailan explained over an encrypted line. You know the script. Maximize their avarice before the collapse. Understood. The penniless grand dame is ready for her curtain call, Su Yi replied, her voice firm. She changed swiftly into simple but clean attire, deliberately choosing a minimal watch and no jewelry to amplify her poor but proud image. At the opulent Golden Oriole restaurant, the atmosphere was thick with Mrs. Chen's impatient greed. Mrs. Chen and Chen Fangxia, brother, sat opposite the newly arrived couple, their disdain evident. Xia Bailan, we have wasted enough time, Mrs. Chen declared, tapping her fingers on the mahogany table. Let's discuss the essentials. My daughter deserves security. We require the 5 gold items, international brands only, a luxury apartment in her name, and a high-end wedding vehicle. The total cost is a non-negotiable 15 million yuan. Chen Fangxia, brother, snickered. Considering your current profession and your father's, retirement fund, where will this money come from, unless you plan to pay in loose change? Su Yi leaned forward, playing her role with surgical precision. Her voice trembled slightly, conveying a proud girl's desperation. The funds are not the issue, Mrs. Chen. We have saved diligently. We value love over material possessions, but we will meet your terms to prove our commitment. She reached into her small clutch and produced the gold-plated platinum card, a visible symbol of status, now strategically deactivated by Xia Bailan's team. I will place a 500,000 yuan good faith deposit now. Mrs. Chen watched, her eyes wide with mounting greed. She motioned for the restaurant manager to bring the terminal. This was the moment of truth. Su Yi swiped the card. The terminal whirred, then displayed the devastating message, insufficient funds, transaction declined. Su Yi tried again, her face registering maximum distress and confusion. Insufficient funds, card locked. Mrs. Chen erupted in mocking laughter, her voice loud and cruel. Ha ha ha! What a pathetic display! You try to fool us with a frozen card? You are a fraud, a common waitress trying to climb the social ladder with cheap tricks. You have wasted our time. Chen Fangxia, brother, towered over Su Yi, his voice venomous. You are utterly useless. You lied about money, just like your pauper fiancé lied about his prospects. The engagement is terminated, and you owe us an apology for the insult. Xia Bailan watched the scene reach its predetermined peak. Su Yi's eyes met his. The despair in her look was now merely professional acting.
He knew he had to deliver the final, devastating counterblow. He rose slowly from the table, his posture straightening from the slouch of a tired delivery man into the imposing figure of an executive. "The performance is indeed over, Mrs. Chen. You are correct about the card being locked, but incorrect about the funds." He paused, letting the silence draw out. "The payment for the 5 gold items and the luxury apartment is inconsequential to me, but your greed, Mrs. Chen, has exposed the true toxic rot beneath your social standing. Your pathetic attempt to extort an additional 15 million yuan will not go unpunished." You are still a pauper. You have nothing," Mrs. Chen shrieked. Xia Bailan smiled, a cold, surgical smile. "I assure you, you will learn the cost of insulting my fiancé and my family very soon. That frozen card was the least of your worries. Your real worry begins now."
The spectacle at the Longxi showroom, though briefly concluded by the arrival of the cash, had not satisfied the Chen family's lust for revenge and validation. They sought one final opportunity to tear down Xia Bailan's pride, believing his CEO status was a local low-tier fabrication, especially since his fiancée, Su Yi, worked as a waitress. After Xia Bailan walked out of the restaurant, he drove straight to a prearranged, secluded spot, knowing the Chen family would follow his battered delivery vehicle. He knew this was the optimal location for the public execution of their arrogance. Mrs. Chen and Chen Fengshai, brother, arrived moments later, panting, their faces flushed with rage and the desperation of the greedy. Mrs. Chen thrust the frozen bank card into the air, the visible symbol of Su Yi's failure. "There you are, Xia Bailan. You can't fool us with a fleeting moment of cash. Your money might be dirty, but your fiancée is just a poor waitress with a fake card. 15 million or lose my daughter forever," she shrieked, her voice cracking with fury. Chen Fengshai, brother, circled Xia Bailan, sneering. "Admit it. You're a fraud. You're the CEO of a delivery service, not a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. You are beneath us, beneath my sister." He pointed at the old man, Mr. Xia, who stood calmly beside his son. "And that old man is clearly senile, claiming to be some kind of scholar. This entire family is trash." Su Yi stepped forward, placing herself squarely between Xia Bailan and the attacking Chens. Her eyes, usually soft, were now sharp and glacial. She was tired of the act. "The performance is over, Mrs. Chen. You've played the fool long enough." She deliberately let her voice carry the weight of her true lineage, the eldest daughter of the once powerful Zhang family. Xia Bailan knew the time for half-truths was past. He raised his hand to silence Su Yi and pulled out the intricate, dragon-carved key. He looked directly at the Chens, his CEO persona now fully manifested, cold, calculating, and devastatingly authoritative. "You want the address of my residence? You want proof of my worth? Fine." He took a deep breath, deliberately drawing out the moment. "This key," he said, holding up the artifact, "is for Longxi Villa number 1. Just as the name Longxi Villa registered with the Chens, the most exclusive and heavily secured property in all of Yanchang, a black sedan sped to a halt nearby. Manager Ma, the fiercely loyal head of Longxi's property division, tumbled out of breath and frantic. "CEO, madam, I finally found you both," Manager Ma cried, ignoring the bewildered Chen family entirely as he rushed to bow before Xia Bailan and Su Yi. His suit was rumpled, his demeanor panicked, yet his deference was absolute. "Sir, I apologize. I received your encrypted location pin. Is everything all right? I brought the necessary documents and security clearances." Mrs. Chen's jaw dropped. The word CEO, spoken by a man clearly high up in the management chain, was irrefutable. But the key detail was the title of the property. "Longxi Villa number 1. Manager Ma, that key? Is that the legendary unique key?" she stammered, her voice shaking with dawning horror.
Yes, Madam Chen, the key is one of a kind. It belongs to the only owner of Longxi Villa number 1, which is, of course, the CEO of Longxi Group. Manager Ma confirmed clearly and loudly. The first truth unfolded. Mrs. Chen and Chen Fengshai, brother, collapsed. The delivery man they despised was the CEO of Longxi Group, one of the wealthiest conglomerates in the world. The 15 million yuan in betrothal gifts they demanded was a trifle compared to his assets. Xia Bailan looked at the Chen family with disdain. Yes, I am the CEO of Longxi, and Su Yi, she is my wife, the CEO's madame. She doesn't need your betrothal money because she already has everything. The engagement is off. All of you, get out of my sight.
The atmosphere back at the Longfei showroom was electric. The 50 million yuan lay in briefcases, a heavy, silent testament to the absurdity of the bet. Mr. Sun and Sun Hongyuan, having received word that Xia Bailan was indeed the CEO of Longxi, were in the state of terminal denial and fear. They were aware of the devastating financial power that would now be brought against them. Mr. Sun, the more politically connected of the two, desperately tried his final ploy. He was loudly arguing with Manager Zhou, clinging to the original terms of the bet, the National Scholar claim. The CEO status could be faked. It's likely a small regional subsidiary. But the claim of knowing the Indomitable National Scholar is pure fabrication. That man is a national treasure. The old man is a lunatic, and his son must pay the price for defamation. Sun Hongyuan, emboldened by his father's final desperate attempt, pointed a shaking finger at Mr. Shaw. You lost, old fool. You claim to be the National Scholar, but where is your proof? Where are the military officials? Where is the validation? You must kneel. You and your son must be dragged out. Mr. Shaw, who had returned with Xia Bailan and Su Yi, walked calmly into the center of the showroom. He raised his hand, silencing Sun Hongyuan's hysterical outburst. His posture was no longer that of a frail old man, but a monumental figure of intellectual and national stature. Gentlemen, Mr. Shaw began, his voice resonating with a power that commanded instant silence. You sought proof. You sought the connection to the Indomitable National Scholar. I told you, I know him very well. I paused, letting his gaze sweep over the entire room, finally resting on Mr. Sun. I know him because the man you claim to know is my closest subordinate. This was a twist no one expected. If Mr. Shaw wasn't the scholar, who was? Before the Sun family could voice their confusion, the main doors of the showroom swung open with force. General Qi Chen, in his full military uniform, entered, followed by a contingent of high-level military aides. His arrival was swift, deliberate, and final. He was a symbol of Huaxia's unwavering institutional power. General Qi Chen walked straight past the briefcases of cash, ignoring Sun Hongyuan and Mr. Sun entirely. He stopped directly in front of Mr. Shaw and executed a deep, respectful military bow. National Scholar Sha Zongtong, my apologies for the delay. The funds have been delivered as requested. Your security detail has been assigned to you and Madame Su Yun. Your orders, sir. The name, Sha Zongtong, and the title, National Scholar, confirmed by General Qi Chen's flawless demeanor, completely annihilated the Sun family's last shred of hope. Mr. Sun staggered backward, his eyes wide with a terror deeper than any financial ruin. Sun Hongyuan's knees buckled, and he collapsed to the marble floor. Mr. Shaw looked down at Sun Hongyuan, his expression stern and unforgiving. The bet stands, Sun Hongyuan. You must kneel and pronounce the blessing, now. Sun Hongyuan, his will entirely broken by the colossal reality of the situation, began to weep uncontrollably.
his voice choking as he screamed the humiliating phrase 10 times, the sound echoing the complete and total ruin of his family's reputation and fortune. General Qi Chen then looked over the kneeling Sun family. "Manager Zhou," the general commanded, his voice cold. "The Sun family's political and financial influence is now nullified. Escort these men out and ensure they face the appropriate legal consequences for their recent economic crimes. The National Scholar's time is valuable." With the Sun family publicly disgraced and dragged out, Xia Bailan finally took Su Yi's hand. The retribution was successful. Justice for all the humiliation they had endured in their masquerade was complete. Mr. Xia smiled, a genuine, relieved smile this time. "Let's go, my children. The mission is complete. The stage is cleared. It is time for the wedding."
The drive back to the Chen family's modest apartment was silent, save for the furious whispers and panicked sobs echoing in the back seat. Mrs. Chen was hysterically slapping her son's arm, blaming him for the disastrous engagement meeting. Her face was a grotesque mask of defeat and avarice. "You idiot! You colossal, brainless idiot! We had the CEO of Longxi Group right there, ready to marry your sister, and you drove him away with demands for a paltry 15 million yuan? Do you realize what kind of wealth we lost? Longxi Group is worth trillions, trillions!" Mrs. Chen wailed, her greed morphing into hysterical self-pity, her tears fueled by the realization of the unimaginable riches they had thrown away. Chen Fangxia, brother, equally defeated, but far more calculating, rubbed his stinging arm. "Mother, calm down. We still have a card to play. We can claim we were only testing his resolve and character. And Chen Fangxia, daughter, still has sentimental ties, right? We need to apologize, grovel, whatever it takes. We must use the broken engagement contract as leverage. We should ask for compensation for the emotional damage of the broken engagement. A mere 50 million yuan should suffice to start the reconciliation process and show our sincerity." 50 million just for a start? Mrs. Chen momentarily stopped crying, a glint of renewed avarice in her eyes. "Yes, get the engagement contract ready. We will go to Longxi headquarters first thing tomorrow. We will stage a dramatic public apology. We must make them believe we were testing them for their daughter's worth, ensuring he was a good man beneath the wealth." The phone rang. It was Chen Fangxia, daughter, calling from her friend's house. She was utterly confused and terrified by her family's sudden shift from demanding millions in Xinglie to plotting an elaborate, humiliating public apology scheme. She tried to tell her mother that she no longer wished to pursue Xia Bailan, that his sudden and overwhelming power now genuinely terrified her. But Mrs. Chen cut her off savagely, her voice laced with venomous determination. "Silence! You will marry him. You hear me? You will call Xia Bailan immediately and tell him you regret everything, that your heart was broken when he left. We will salvage this marriage and you will be the CEO's madame. Do not fail us again." Meanwhile, at the Xia family's modest temporary residence, a cover operation for one of Longxi's most secure high-tech bunkers, the atmosphere was one of quiet victory and focused strategy. Xia Bailan was reviewing sensitive financial data on a transparent holographic screen, while Mr. Xia sipped traditional Chinese tea. "The Sun family stocks have dropped 30% since General Qi Chen's public salute, son," Mr. Xia remarked, placing his cup down. "The fallout from humiliating the National Scholar is swift and severe. General Qi Chen is initiating a tax audit and a foreign funding investigation into their shell companies. Their structure is brittle." "Good, father. I've already instructed our legal team to discreetly purchase 49% of their outstanding commercial debt. We'll seize controlling interest and liquidate their primary assets by the end of the week. Their arrogance will cost them everything they valued." Xia Bailan leaned back, the tension finally leaving his shoulders.
Su Yi entered the room, having just finished her shift at the coffee shop and washing off the scent of stale coffee and cheap detergent. She was no longer wearing the waitress uniform, but a simple, elegant silk dress that immediately restored her natural grace and authority. The Chen family will be at the Longxi Tower tomorrow morning. They will try the public apology and the despicable testing your worth narrative. Their greed supersedes their common sense. Mr. Xia smiled faintly. Let them try. We needed them to play the fool completely, publicly, so there would be no doubt about their mercenary motives. Su Yin, my child, I know this masquerade has been difficult for you. Your commitment to protecting us and concealing your own identity is profound. Su Yi looked out the heavily reinforced window, remembering the dark days after her own family's downfall, a downfall orchestrated by a powerful shadow organization seeking to control the Jiang family's technological patents, the very patents that the Xia family was now protecting. Her resolve was ice cold. I owe you everything, National Scholar, not just for saving me from the likes of Sun Yuan, but for giving me purpose. They think this is about money. They don't know the true value of what they seek, or the true danger of crossing the family who possesses it. She paused, her voice hardening. They don't know the colossal danger they invite by associating with us. Danger is precisely why we keep the true Longxi Group operations completely separate from our public philanthropic endeavors, Xia Bailan interjected, walking over to her. The real battle is not against superficial greed like the Sun and Chen families, but against the hidden enemies seeking the Huaxia quantum core, the technology father developed and guards. Su Yi met his gaze, her fierce devotion evident. We must ensure no one ever discovers that the Longxi Group's seemingly mundane delivery service is simply a highly sophisticated cover for the transportation of high-value scientific assets, counterintelligence, and protected personnel. The plan was set. Xia Bailan would not meet the Chen family directly. Instead, he would use the Longxi Tower's cutting-edge security and public relations team to deliver the final, crushing blow. The Chen family's calculated attempt at reconciliation would become their final, public, and documented execution. Xia Bailan's internal monologue. They think they are pursuing a wealthy CEO to leech off of. They don't realize they are pursuing a man who holds the fate of a nation's scientific defense in his hands. And they certainly don't realize the man they mocked as a senile sanitation worker is the very genius protecting it all. Let the final act of the Chen family's ruin begin.
The sun had barely risen over Yunqing, casting long shadows across the monolithic glass facade of the Longxi Tower when the Qin family arrived. They were dressed in their best clothes, an ironic display considering the desperation of their mission. Mrs. Qin was carrying a large bouquet of expensive roses, while Qin Fengsha, brother, held a professionally printed banner that read, in large, dramatic characters, "We apologize to CEO Xia Bailan and Madame Su Yi for our misunderstanding." Their plan was simple: create a spectacle in the public lobby, force a meeting with Xia Bailan, and claim their earlier demands were merely a test of his noble character and loyalty to his humble father. They managed to push past the initial reception desk before being met by a formidable barrier. Security Chief Lin, head of Longxi's internal protection, a man whose presence exuded silent, unwavering competence. He was flanked by a team of guards whose eyes missed nothing. "May I help you?" Security Chief Lin asked, his voice low and utterly devoid of warmth. "We are here to see CEO Xia Bailan," Mrs. Qin announced, forcing a saccharine smile onto her contorted face. "Tell him the Qin family has come to offer our profound apologies for the previous slight. We understand now that his character is truly noble, and we wish to finalize the wedding arrangements immediately." Security Chief Lin gave a curt, professional shake of his head. CEO Xia does not take unannounced appointments, especially from parties under police investigation. Investigation? We are victims here, Qin Feng Xia brother bellowed, unrolling the tacky banner dramatically across the polished marble floor. We were only protecting our sister. We have a signed engagement contract. We demand compensation for the breach of promise. We demand to speak to the CEO. From a secure office several floors above, Xia Bailan watched the scene unfold on a high-definition monitor. Su Yi stood beside him, her arms crossed, the remnants of her humiliating public performance now being used as strategic leverage. Chief Lin, you may proceed with the final phase, Xia Bailan instructed via encrypted comms. Chief Lin listened to the earpiece, his face remaining impassive. He signaled to a PR team member who stepped forward, holding a professional camera, clearly beginning to document the entire interaction. Mrs. Qin, Mr. Qin Feng Xia, CEO Xia has authorized me to relay his response, Chief Lin stated, his voice now amplified slightly, ensuring every word echoed clearly in the vast, silent lobby. Mrs. Qin's forced smile vanished, replaced by genuine terror. Audio recording? That's impossible. We were speaking privately. Furthermore, Chief Lin continued, ignoring her protest, the CEO has instructed his legal team to file a civil lawsuit against the Qin family for defamation, emotional distress caused to Madame Su Yi, and business interference. Regarding your claims for breach of promise, the CEO notes that the original engagement was broken by your daughter's explicit rejection of Mr. Xia Bailan's humble employment, not by the CEO himself. Therefore, you owe the CEO compensation for his lost time and resources. Qin Feng Xia brother lunged forward, his pretense of civility finally snapping. You can't do this. We have rights. We demand money. We demand the singly. The PR team member stepped closer, ensuring the camera captured the brother's enraged face and the ridiculous banner. Security Chief Lin finally moved, signaling his guards. This constitutes both trespassing and public disturbance. You are now being officially escorted out. Any further attempts to contact the CEO, his family, or his business will result in immediate police intervention and escalation of the defamation lawsuit. He gestured to the guards, who swiftly but firmly moved the now screaming, hysterical Qins towards the exit. Mrs. Qin shrieked about her daughter's broken heart and the injustice, but her protests were utterly futile against the cold, implacable power of the Longxi Group. Su Yi watched the monitor, a look of grim satisfaction settling over her features. That closes the door on the Qin family's avarice forever. The recording ensures they can never rewrite this narrative. Xia Bailan put his arm around her, gazing at the retreating figures on the screen. That was just the procedural cleanup, my love. The real victory was the Sun family's collapse. Now we have one final piece of business before the wedding. Ensuring father's security is permanently elevated.
The day following the public execution of the Chen family's reputation, the atmosphere at the Xia family's temporary residence was one of intense, calculated action. The humble apartment was merely the facade for a state-of-the-art, deep-level security bunker that housed sensitive equipment. Mr. Xia, no longer having to feign senility, was immersed in complex equations projected across a vast holographic array, his mind already far removed from the petty dramas of young Cheng's elite. Xia Bailan and Su Yi were reviewing highly encrypted threat assessments provided by General Qi Chen's office. The successful collapse of the Sun and Chen families had cleared two potential avenues of infiltration, but the primary threat remained: hostile foreign intelligence agencies targeting Mr. Xia's work.
The Sun family was being actively manipulated by Phoenix Enterprises, a known front for Western espionage aiming to destabilize Huaxia's scientific autonomy, Su Yi summarized, tapping a point on the holographic map that showed the Sun Group's assets being systematically liquidated. Their humiliation serves as a loud warning. Anyone touching the Xia family will be obliterated, regardless of their local power. Xia Bailan nodded grimly. That was the tactical benefit of the public play. We used local greed to destroy a foreign-backed infiltration without exposing the true depth of our network. But Father's vulnerability remains. His location, the Indomitable National Scholar, cannot be found. The core mission, concealed beneath the layers of Longxi Group's public logistics and delivery service, was the protection of the Huaxia quantum core, the revolutionary encryption and defense technology that Mr. Xia had painstakingly developed. Longxi's fleet of delivery vehicles wasn't just moving parcels, it was a mobile, encrypted network transporting vital components and protecting the shifting, classified coordinates of Mr. Xia's various research labs and secure residences. The security door hissed open, and General Longxi Chen entered the bunker, his uniform displaying a quiet urgency. National Scholar, CEO Xia, Madam Su. We have updated intelligence. The Phoenix Group has become more aggressive since the Sun family's swift collapse. They know they are close. Their targets, Mr. Xia asked, turning from his equations, his eyes sharp and focused. Primarily the core's physical prototypes, sir. But their secondary target remains, Madam Su Yi. They still believe she holds the full set of keys to the former Zhang family's patents, which are necessary to complete the core's theoretical framework. General Longxi Chen paused, then added gravely, "They are planning a high-level extraction attempt." Su Yi straightened, her pose rigid. "They will fail. The Zhang patents were secured years ago. They are merely pursuing a ghost." "Nonetheless," General Longxi Chen countered, "your proximity to the National Scholar makes you an unacceptable risk factor. We need the final security protocols enacted immediately." Xia Bailan stepped in, his voice taking command. "The final phase is ready. Father, the Crimson Aegis bunker is fully operational and sealed. It is secured against all known kinetic and electronic warfare threats. You will relocate there immediately after the wedding ceremony." "And your wedding? You will be exposed," Mr. Xia noted, his concern genuine. "The wedding itself is the final piece of camouflage. A high-profile public union between the CEO of Longxi and his madam will cement their belief that we are focused on business and social standing, not national defense. The moment the ceremony ends, we will vanish into the Aegis network." Xia Bailan walked over to the schematic map showing the Longxi Group's delivery routes. "My current delivery vehicle, the old tricycle, is the only vehicle that can transmit the final access codes to the Crimson Aegis bunker without being flagged by foreign monitoring. It will be the final transfer key." Mr. Xia looked at the old tricycle, then at his son, understanding the depth of the sacrifice. The humble disguise had served its highest purpose. "Very well," Mr. Xia conceded, a heavy sense of responsibility settling over him. "The charade ends. Let us prepare for the wedding, and then we defend the Huaxia quantum core."
The wedding was, by all public measures, the social event of the decade in Yuncheng. It was a spectacular display of wealth, cementing the public image of Xia Bailan, the newly confirmed CEO of Longxi, and his wife, Su Yi, the stunning madame who had mysteriously risen from obscurity. Every detail was meticulously planned to satisfy the media's narrative of a successful, power-hungry elite couple. The extravagance served as the perfect blinding camouflage, diverting foreign intelligence surveillance away from the critical asset transfer happening in the background. Mr. Xia, now dressed in a tailored, dignified suit befitting the Indomitable National Scholar, stood proudly beside his son.
General Xia Chen, ostensibly attending as a high-ranking political guest, maintained a constant, subtle surveillance of the perimeter, his presence a silent guarantee of the family's safety. As the vows were exchanged, Su Yi looked into Xia Bailan's eyes, seeing not the all-powerful CEO, but the devoted man who had played the role of a humble delivery worker. Their commitment went beyond social contract. It was a pact forged in the crucible of state secrecy and shared risk. The moment of the exchange of rings also marked the final act of the security protocol. Outside the venue's main loading dock, concealed beneath a tarp, sat the old, battered tricycle. Mr. Shaw quietly slipped away from the receiving line, a small, encrypted memory device concealed in the lining of his suit jacket. He approached the tricycle. This was the final symbolic act of the disguise. He plugged the memory device into a small military-grade interface hidden within the tricycle's engine block. The old vehicle, which had been dismissed as mere transport for the poor, was now transmitting the final, critical, and quantum-encrypted access codes to the Crimson Aegis bunker. The physical keys to the Xia quantum core were now fully secured within the national defense framework. Mr. Shaw closed the panel. The humble tricycle, his old friend and the most effective concealment asset, had fulfilled its highest purpose. He left it there, abandoned, its mission complete. Returning to the reception, the toasts were being made. Xia Bailan took the microphone, his voice strong and clear. "To all our guests," Xia Bailan said, raising his glass, "you know me as the CEO of Longxi, but the most valuable lesson I learned was not in the boardroom, but on the streets, wearing a simple delivery uniform. It was there that I learned the difference between superficial wealth and true worth. And it was there that I learned the unwavering loyalty of the woman beside me, my wife, Su Yi." Su Yi took the microphone next, her eyes shining with unshed tears of relief and love. "To my husband, Xia Bailan, and his father, the National Scholar, they taught me that true power lies not in what you own, but in who you are fighting for. We chose truth, we chose commitment, and we chose to serve." The emotional climax of the wedding, however, served as the most effective distraction. As the party wound down, Xia Bailan and Su Yi were whisked away, not on a honeymoon flight, but into a secured ground transport. General Xia Chen gave them a final, solemn nod of approval. "The transfer is complete. The network is sealed. The National Scholar has arrived at the Crimson Aegis bunker. Mission accomplished." Xia Bailan looked back at the glittering venue, a monument to the world they were now leaving behind. He squeezed Su Yi's hand. The Sun and Chen families thought they were fighting for money and status. They never realized they were fighting against the very nation's future. Su Yi leaned her head against his shoulder. "We won, my love. We have the core, we have our commitment, and we have our peace." The security vehicle descended rapidly into the specialized Longxi subterranean tunnel system, leaving the noise and light of Yongcheng behind. The masquerade was finally over. The humble delivery man and the quiet waitress had vanished, taking with them the greatest secret of Xia.